Hello everybody, I am Jedi Jack Penguin and welcome back to another LEGO Harry Potter review. So today we're going to be looking at number 4738, Hagrid's Hut. This includes 442 pieces for the price of $39.99 when it released on October 1st of 2010. Now with the brand new version of Hagrid's Hut releasing this March 2024, I thought I'd take a look back at some of the previous versions of the set, starting off with the very first rendition of the hut that I ever got in my collection. This was one of my first few LEGO Harry Potter sets, maybe my second Harry Potter set, but what I do remember is that I got this before Christmas, before the Hogwarts Express and the Hogwarts Castle, and I just remember this being such a fun set, and it's great that you get the core three main characters in here for them not making Harry Potter sets since 2007. Now, since I don't have the box, we're going to take a quick peek at the instructions, which mimic the box with that classic 2010-2011 style, that dark red for like the Half-Blood Prince era of stuff, as well as your Harry, Ron, and Hermione from that film. From the backside, you'll find your Win Kid, LEGO Club advertisement for the recent LEGO Harry Potter video game, which was initially what spawned this entire line, I believe. Some information about the light brick, because there is one included, and how to actually replace the battery, as when I took it apart I found out it wasn't working anymore. We also get your piece count, and no other advertisements. Might have ripped them out of this. As you saw by the piece count, I have doodled in this set as I got this back in the day when I was a kid. Starting off our minifigure selection, we have the boy who lived, Harry Potter, who you also would have been able to get within 4 other sets between the 2010 and 2011 period, as well as a polybag and a magnet set. You get him in his Hogwarts uniform, which will be that same exact torso print, which you'll also see for Ron and Hermione in this set. Front and back printing, and the yellow and red stripe from the bottom for Gryffindor, black pants, which was brand new for this particular time, and we'd see later continue into the 2018 and beyond. Stick piece for the wand, as we still didn't get a new wand piece till 2018. Classic hair piece introduced back in 2001. And a brand new facial expression, double-sided, one with a smile and one with an unhappy look for that 2010-2011 period. Really love this version of Harry Potter. It's the one that I always think of as the very first rendition to enter my collection. We also get Hermione Granger in her Hogwarts uniform in this set. You may see slight printing variation when it comes to the torso, as the magnet versions had a bit more definition to their lines compared to the ones that you'd find in sets, and unfortunately I couldn't find another torso that would work along with the rest of these, just saying. Facial expression would be brand new for Hermione with a happy look from the front, and then more of a stubborn look from the backside, and I do have to note that this facial expression would be used on other characters in the future, though not too long. Ron Weasley would be exclusive to this set because he's in his Hogwarts uniform. Otherwise, in the other 2010-2011 sets, you'd just find him in regular Muggle clothing. Just like the other characters, you get a double-sided facial expression, one with a smirk from the front side, and if I can get the hairpiece off, you'll see from the back that we have a much more scared look, which is something that you see on Ron minifigures a lot these days. You'd also find a brand new hairpiece recolor, the Cole hairpiece, now in that orangey color for the Weasley family. This is the hairpiece that I always see when it comes to Ron's minifigure. It's one of my favorite hairpieces that they chose for him, though definitely what they use nowadays works to great effect. And then finally, we'd have Rubeus Hagrid, who you also would have been able to get within 2 other sets between the 2010-2011 period. He comes with 2 accessories, one being his crossbow, love that they included that, and then the other one being his pink umbrella disguised as a wand, which here I do have to say, them using the wand piece on top of having the cones for the umbrella, I just think is a really clever design. Though for sure what they use nowadays, which is an actual umbrella mold, works even better. Now when it comes to Hagrid's design, we have a very similar style as we saw introduced back in the 2001 set, as well as you'd see continue into 2004 and then 2007. We get the print from the very front of the body, which you can see a little bit better when you remove the beard piece. There is a full look at the printing, which looks really nice, as well as the facial expression, which would be brand new for Hagrid in this case as well. You may notice that the hands are in that flesh tone color and that the hands are actually have fingers on them, which is a little weird, but you know, for the time it's interesting to see them experimenting with that. And I also have to say that the arms and the hands and the body is one entire mold, including the legs down there, unlike the modern day Hagrid where you'd have to assemble the arms onto the body and also the short legs from the very bottom. We also do happen to have a brand new beard piece when it comes to modern day Hagrid. This will be the same exact one that we saw introduced back in 2001, which in my opinion is the way that I always see Hagrid's minifigure compared to the one that we see modern day, just because it's so nostalgic, especially when it came to the video games. With our minifigure selection out of the way, we can take a look at some of the other smaller pieces included leading up to the Hagrid's hut build. First, if it wasn't enough getting the crossbow and the wand for Hagrid's accessory, we also happen to get this little lantern build. It's very simple. It does its job. We also happen to get this rat piece to represent Scabbers, which is the same rat piece that we saw introduced all the way back in the day, no special printing or anything. And with this being a general representation of Harry Potter, we do happen to get some of these plain black spider pieces, which we saw introduced way back in the day with the clip piece from the front and the anti-stud from the bottom. You get 3 of them so you can have Harry and Ron follow them into the Forbidden Forest, which we don't really get a part of in this set, in order to see Aragog. Now, the build for Aragog is certainly interesting, to say the least. It's not the best version of Aragog. I mean, the 2002 one isn't that great either. I am going to be doing a review of that rather soon, and I am going to be putting out a review for the 2018 version of Aragog, which is definitely my favorite version, but we'll see what they do over the summer, I suppose. What I think is the weirdest part about this is that we're using these ninja sword pieces for the legs, and sorry in advance that I am using 2 different types of ninja swords. We have the newer versions right here compared to the older ones where you can see this more octagonal shape at the base of the sword, which is just really interesting that these were the swords that they were using. This was also the first swords that they were using in Ninjago till they switched over to this design, which we see in modern day sets. But still, just as far as the design of this character, I'm really interested in why they chose ninja swords as the legs. I mean, I guess it works just to have those thinner legs, but it's just kind of weird, and I bet over time, if you do have this on display, that those sword pieces are going to get a lot flimsier and bend in certain ways that you really don't want them to. But back to how these are connected, we get these different type of clip piece connections, so you can move them back and forth to help with positioning. And we also have these studs, which are supporting these different type of clip piece connections, just so then you get that movement here in case you want to adjust these again to help position this character on a flat surface. Speaking of the face, you get the pincers in this silvery color, which I find really odd, and we also get a 1x2 tile print for the eyes. I definitely like that this is printed and not stickered, but I just think that the eyes were done so much better on the one that we'd get in 2018. We also happen to get a print from the very back here, which is connected using a clip piece connection, just again for adjustment purposes more than anything else. This is our 3rd ever representation of Hagrid's hut. The first one that we saw was all the way back in 2001, then we'd see it again in 2004, so this would make number 3. Now at $40, this one is $10 less than the last one. It does include 2 more minifigures, and you also get Aragog in here compared to the last one, which was based off the Prisoner of Azkaban. But as far as the build goes, I definitely think that it's an improvement compared to the 2004 one, just because there's so many references in here, and I just think that the color scheme as a whole just looks a lot nicer. I really love the inclusion of the sand green, even though I'm not exactly sure if that's the right color to be used on top of Hagrid's hut. The one other thing that I wanted to appreciate from the very front is the fact that we do have a little bit of Hagrid's pumpkin patch. Now, we do happen to get brand new prints, or at least these prints were introduced the year prior, I believe, as part of a LEGO game set. So now we have one side to represent the pumpkin. Now, if you want to make it Halloween, and this I just really love that they include this as an option, you can flip it right around and you have the jack-o'-lantern already carved out. And I just think that's really amazing. I love that they did that. That's definitely a really clever feature just to, again, reference the books more so than the films. You'll see some other studs to represent pumpkins around the base. And you'll get 2 more of those printed headpieces from the backside, one of them with a stem piece. And I also have to talk about these little mushrooms, where you get these dish pieces, which I believe were also brand new prints introduced for this set, and we'd see those continue all the way to 2014. From the sides of Hagrid's hut, you'll see that we do get some stickers for the brickwork, and these should all be different stickers, and I believe that there are 2 different sets of stickers to create these. I'm not sure if it's regional or like what it was, like if a first rendition of this set had different sticker details than a second rendition. It's just really interesting to think that there's more than 4 different versions of these particular stickers. Speaking of the roof design, I did mention before that I do really like the sand green just as a pop of color to contrast the grays. I do have to say it's really nice to get some of these, as I believe some of these are brand new recolors, or at least don't come in too many sets, mostly Harry Potter sets having that sand green for the Hogwarts castle, which I find really nice. You'll see that we get the chimney, which also has some stickers. This is a pretend chimney to work with the pretend fireplace, where we get this, which I'm going to talk about when we get to the interior. You'll see that we get this brown owl, which will be a brand new print for 2010, and we'd see that print continue into the later years of LEGO Harry Potter as well. And then finally we have the actual roofs here, which use those different type of clip piece connections, which you can see a lot better from the backside how these are connected in order to get the angling. And these are all the same exact build for them to create the top of the roof, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. Finishing off with the exterior, we have the doors. These are connected using some clip piece connections so you can open and close them. They're the same exact door designs that we saw introduced back in 2001. I also have to point out this little barrel over here, so if you want to put Hagrid's accessories out here, you can do that. And we get some windows from the side and another door from the back side. Now, what's really cool about them including a door from the back side, even though it's kind of inaccurate to have it in that particular spot, is the fact that you can actually turn this into that Prisoner of Azkaban version of Hagrid's hut by just displaying it like that. And this makes it an even better set in my opinion, that you can display it like this, just like how you see it in the 2019 Hagrid's hut. Definitely it requires a little bit more space going that way, but it definitely gives you one of the better options to display Hagrid's hut and one of the more accurate representations compared to just having it fully enclosed, as we saw it the last 2 years. Entering Hagrid's hut, we're gonna get some of the more annoying stuff out of the way, like this loose broomstick, which if you're handling it like this, it may fall down, though you do happen to get the studs to put it in between, so I guess that's nice. We also have a loose letter over here, which is hiding underneath this bench. I'm gonna just remove this to make life easier. Atop this, you'll find one of those dark gray owls, which was also brand new for 2010 with this print, but we wouldn't see that continue into the 2018 sets. Underneath here, as I mentioned before, we get this letter print, which we saw introduced all the way back in the day, as well as this red gem, which I would guess that this is supposed to represent the Philosopher's Stone, but I don't know why Hagrid would have it unless this is just generally referencing Philosopher's Stone, as we get references to both the first and second Harry Potter movies in here. It is a little confusing. You know, it's nice of them to include it, but still it's just a really odd thing that they included. And this is also atop a jumper plate just to make it easy to take on and off if you want to. In the back over here, you'll see that we get this wizard portrait. I'm not exactly sure who that's supposed to be. I know that some of the designers ended up including themselves within some of the portraits, so it might be one of the designers, I'm not sure. We get this axe atop a clip piece and a key, which you can also use within the door. You get an extra one of those. You get Hagrid's table over here, which happens to have a cup as well as a plate. Nice to get it in that color. And you'll see a little plant over there in the corner. From this side, you'll see the extra key just right next to the door. Nice of them to include it there. You get a piece of chicken, you get a fish, And then over here you'll find the fireplace, which has some potion bottles. So if you want to make potions in there, you can do that, as we do happen to get the cauldron, which you can take on and off of the fire right there with a spinny plate. And here is where you'll notice our little dragon friend, which is supposed to represent Norbert. Again, referencing Philosopher's Stone compared to the Chamber of Secrets stuff that we saw with Aragog. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to the fireplace is the fact that you can turn it on by pressing this back button over here, which lights up the light brick to show that glimmering flame. And I really love that they include that as a little detail that you can play around with as you pretend to cook the non-existent egg and birth Norbert. So overall, for only $40 back in the day, I feel like this was a really great deal. You get your 3 main characters right off the bat. If you didn't want to buy any of the other Harry Potter sets for that wave, this is definitely the one that you should have chosen, with Harry, Ron, and Hermione, as well as getting Hagrid, which is definitely one of the better versions that we got. Definitely think that the modern day one is a great version, though this is definitely a classic, really good rendition of Hagrid's character. You also happen to get references not only to the Chamber of Secrets, but you get references to the Philosopher's Stone, and I think it's even better that you're able to display this set fully enclosed or even have it opened up like this, just to have a lot of fun with the interior. So yeah, that's all that I have to say for this video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, what your thoughts are on this set. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't upload a new video. So yeah, that's it for now, and I'll see you next time. Bye!